Hi, it's Doug Coy for SoWhatDoYouThink.com. Well, the football world was kind of shocked when Jamall Lee, at the age of 25, decided to retire from the BC Lions. Now, this is a young man that just a year or so ago even had a tryout with the Carolina Panthers.
Okay, well, like I said, the way I see it, no matter what situation you're in, no matter who's around, if you believe that you could do something, I know it sounds cliche and you hear it all the time, but if you truly believe you could do something and you put in the work, it can happen. And if it doesn't happen, people will see you trying really hard and they'll support you with it. There's always support anywhere you go. It might not be where you expect it, but there's always people out there willing to help you out. So as long as you have that dream in your brain and have a work ethic to go along with it, anything's possible. Believe me, trust me.
His future was so bright. And a lot of people in the sports world are saying, why? I mean, when you're a young man, everything you want to do is to get to that place to play professional sports. Very few people in the world ever get a chance to do that. And he played for a team that won the Grey Cup last year. So Jamall Lee, what's this all about? Well, my personal feeling on that, if you ask me, is I think he found something that had a lot more purpose, had a lot more meaning. And he didn't want to play a game anymore. His father started something years ago called Pathfinders, and this is an organization that helps young men find their path, helps them get jobs, get some self-respect, and it means more to him to help a young person find their way in life than it does to carry a football down a field and score a touchdown. Now, I know that's hard for some people to believe, but for Jamall, hey, that's what life is all about, and he's thrilled to be doing that. So I kind of looked into that. I mean, why do we do anything? Why do we have popularity? Why do we make money? Why do we do any of that kind of stuff? There's a guy by the name of Rick Warren, and he wrote a book called The Purpose-Driven Life. Now, in his wildest imagination, he never thought that book would be as popular as it is. For over 3 or 4 years, it was the #1 selling book in the world. I guess a lot of people are trying to find purpose. And he talked to the NBA champions at the NBA championship game, All-Star game, I should say, and he addressed them, and he talked to them about using what you have in your hands and the influence that you have, using it for good. Here's Rick Warren.
Last year, I was invited to speak at NBA Allstars game, and so I'm talking to the players, and because most of the NBA teams, NFL teams, and all the other teams have done this 40 Days of Purpose based on the book. And I asked them, I said, what's in your hand? I said, what's in your hand? I said, it's a basketball. And that basketball represents your identity, who you are. You're an NBA player. It represents your income. You're making a lot of money off that little ball. And it represents your influence. And even though you're only going to be in the NBA for a few years, you're going to be an NBA player the rest of your life. And that gives with you enormous influence. So what are you going to do with what you've been given? And I guess that's the main reason I came up here today to all of you very bright people at TED, is to say, what's in your hand? What do you have that you've been given? Talent, background, education, freedom, networks, opportunities, wealth, ideas, creativity. What are you doing with what you've been given? That to me is the primary question about life. That to me is what being purpose-driven is all about. In the book, I talk about how you're wired to do certain things. You're shaped with little acrostic: spiritual gifts, heart, ability, personality, and experiences. These things shape you. And if you want to know what you ought to be doing with your life, you need to look at your shape. What am I wired to do? Why would God wire you to do something and then have you do it? If you're wired to be an anthropologist, you be an anthropologist. If you're wired to be an underseas explorer, you be an underseas explorer. If you're wired to make deals, you make deals. If you're wired to paint, you paint. Did you know that God smiles when you be you?
So that's very powerful, what Rick had to say. And going back as far as Jamall is concerned, I applaud you. He's involved in an organization that gives people a hand up, not just a hand out. And that is an amazing thing to do with your life. To find out that life is a lot more than just you, and to live a life where you give. You know, there's a guy that said years ago, it stuck in my head, he said, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll always have what you want. And giving your life away helps you find your life. What a concept. Jamall Lee, I'm proud of you, buddy. This is Doug Coy for SoWhatDoYouThink.com.